I want to talk about immigration. As an immigrant myself, who came through and was able to make it through the system, having had a grandfather who had immigrated from Panama many years before I came, who sponsored my mother. My mother then sponsored me, etc. But before that, I had to come on a standard student visa before all of that could be straightened out. But that said, immigration is an issue that Congress has screwed up. And it is an issue that Congress needs to fix. But it's an issue that Republicans are using racist tropes to somehow have Americans all fearing immigrants. And they are putting all kinds of roadblocks in front of Biden or any Democrat that is attempting to create a sensible immigration system to a land that says we are a land of immigrants. And unlike most countries around the world, based on our formation, given our history, it demands that we be the place open for all people from around the world, yet be in an orderly fashion. But our history dictates that this land that consumes more so than any other land around the world, that we be open to the rest of the world in an orderly fashion. And it was great to see a strong woman in Jasmine Crockett who goes out there and without any hesitation makes sure to point out the hypocrisy, the evil within the right wing who continuously try to demean the immigrants, and not only the immigrants, but even to the effect of having a governor who insinuates the killing of immigrants coming over the border. But I want you to listen to her, a strong woman. And then I want to show a contrast between another Democratic congressperson running for the Senate in Texas who caved in to the evil of Republicans. A vote with them on this particular policy, in effect, is acquiescing to their evil. I want you to listen to this, and then I want you to listen to Jasmine Crockett, and then we'll take it on the other side because it's rather important.
These people died at our border in Texas on Friday. We are here today having a hearing, and the pro-life party does not want to talk about the fact that there was basically state-issued or sanctioned death at the Texas border. There can be nothing more inhumane than the fact that we have not even decided that we were going to discuss this on the pro-life side. But you know what? I do want to talk about some other facts that we have. Republicans can't do the basic job that we are supposed to do. You see, in 2 days, we are scheduled to shut down. They can't figure out how to do a budget because we're 6 months behind, but somehow they are going to solve this complex issue of immigration. I seriously doubt it. And to quote a great known as Riri, also known as Rihanna, how about we give a round of applause, a standing ovation, because we have absolutely had nothing more than performative politics. In fact, my Texas colleague just finished his comments by specifically talking about the election in November and who's going to win it. We are not here to campaign. We are supposed to be here to legislate, but we have done everything except for legislate. So let's go through a few more facts. Democrats have introduced legitimate, sensible legislation to address what we're seeing. My colleagues on the other side of the aisle want to grandstand for political purposes rather than work with Democrats and fix an immigration system that has been broken for decades. Republicans continue to vilify people, including mothers and their children. And as I just said, we just lost a mother and her children. We also know that the gentle lady from Florida who happens to be the only member to give birth this session, specifically admitted that she actually wants a child separation policy. I can't think of something more ironic than that particular member specifically advocating for child separation policies. Republicans are yelling that states don't have the tools to help with migrants, but rather than work with Democrats, Republicans are targeting communities of color in Democratic cities like Chicago, New York, and Philadelphia. And while they say that it's about Democrat-run cities, I do want to point out another similarity that they have. These are cities that are run by African Americans. So while I know that they love to pretend as if there are no racial undertones, it is just striking to me that we specifically are going after African American run cities. And we talk about the mayor of New York. I don't know when I've ever seen so much bipartisanship and agreement out of the Republicans, but they continue to talk about what the mayor of New York has said. Let me tell you about somebody else who wanted to speak out about New York. And I want to make sure that she understands that the Democrats aren't the problem, but the Republicans are. And that's Cardi B. Cardi B specifically talked about her frustration because the mayor came out and said that they don't have the resources that they need. But guess who has actually tried to give the resources to these cities and who has stood in obstruction? President Biden. To be clear, President Biden has tried to give state and local governments and nonprofits federal resources to support temporary food, shelter, and other services. But MAGA House Republicans are refusing to give those cities and states those resources. President Biden has tried to put 1,300 more Border Patrol agents at the border to help, but Republicans have obstructed that request. Republicans want to cut the flow of fentanyl coming into the United States. President Biden has tried to give our border agents 100 new cutting-edge inspection devices and add 1,000 additional law enforcement personnel. Republicans obstructed that request. Honestly, I can't tell if y'all are for anything other than obstruction and cruelty. Just take a look at my governor last week. He said, and I quote, "The only thing we're not doing is we're not shooting people who come across the border because, of course, the Biden administration would charge us with murder." I know Governor Abbott doesn't understand the law, but let me say this, that absolutely would be murder.
Now, Jasmine Crockett nailed it in every possible direction. But there is a congressman from Texas. His name is Colin Allred. Colin Allred, the football star who who is supposed to be strong, who is supposed to be moral. He goes out there and he votes with Republicans against Biden, calling out Biden. I want you to, first of all, get a list of these. I'm going to put it on the screen. List of Democrats who immorally voted with Republicans. 14 House Democrats voted for a GOP resolution to condemn Biden's open border policies. How dare any Democrat hang on to that lie about an open border policy? Allred, Caraveo, Craig, Cuellar. We expect it from Henry Cuellar. Henry Cuellar is a guy who doesn't even respect a woman's right to her own person. Davis, Gluskamp, Perez, Golden, Gonzalez Vicente, Landsman, Lee of Nevada, Moskowitz, Nickel, Petola, Sorensen. Those Democrats must be primaried. All of them. And as far as Colin Allred becoming the senator who is going to go up about Ted Cruz, how can he go up against Ted Cruz if he's such a timid person that he goes ahead and vote and a resolution that condemns President Biden as an open border policy president? No Democrats in their right mind would give a talking point, a lie like that to any Republican person, because that vote from Cuellar, that vote from Allred will be used over and over again. He may think it will help him with the Senate contest that he's in right now, that he hopes to win against El Señor Cruz. But let me tell you, he will not. In fact, every Democrat out there, there is a good Democrat running, and he's not some right or left wing liberal running. He's a fairly moderate type of Democrat running, but he came out against what Allred did, as he should. But he's also running for Senate. Allred, let me take my host hat off right now. Colin Allred has lost my vote. Period. You know, when you have strong women like Jasmine Crockett go out there and points out what the president is wanting to do and being blocked by Republicans, when you have an Allred going out there, a Colin Allred going out there, the football star going out there and going against the president in this particular instance based on a lie, after Jasmine Crockett has pointed out item for item what the president is trying to do with the issue at the border. It's shameful. Luckily, the senator the state senator that was running against Allred came out and blasted him. He said, State Senator Roland Gutierrez, who is running against Allred for the Democratic nominee for U.S. Senate, blasted Allred for his vote, saying he sided with the GOP extremists. The Democratic nominee that goes up against Ted Cruz should fight tooth and nail against Trump's dangerous so-called policies. If our nominee agrees with Trump and Ted Cruz's idea of border security, then we are in a hell of a lot of trouble, Gutierrez said in a statement. And he's absolutely right. If we don't have people who are out there ready to buck the lies, ready to ensure that they don't get away with lying to the American people, then what the hell are you doing in the party? What the hell are you doing attempting to do what's right? Great job to Jasmine Crockett. Great statement to Roland Gutierrez.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel. And number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.